Welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Football RPG. I'm Mike, that's Evan, and he's over there. It's been 2 months, all right? Cut me some slack. Guys, it is hot outside in the summer. It is hot in the fantasy football streets, and it is hot trying to catch up on 32 different teams. We're going to try to do it in an hour or less. So, Evan, is there a team that you're most excited to talk about?
The Eagles, as always, because they're my Eagles.
Did they even do anything this offseason? They just kept all of the good players, and they're still good.
They extended all of the good players. They paid the good players that got them to the Super Bowl and won them the Super Bowl last year more money. Normal stuff.
Yeah. The things that the Cowboys should be doing. But we'll do the NFC East later. We're going to start in the AFC. We'll start with the North. We'll work our way Northeast, Southwest, and then we'll head over to the NFC. It's going to be a long show. We'll put timestamps underneath if we remember, which is a soft maybe. But without further ado, we'll start with the AFC North. Let's throw up a softball. The Ravens. Offseason moves include nothing for fantasy football as far as I'm concerned. Where are you looking at the Ravens offseason moves and is there really anything worth mentioning there, or is it just they're good?
I mean, the Ravens are still good. They still have Derrick Henry. They still have Lamar Jackson. Extended Bateman? Was it this offseason?
Yep, that was.
Yeah, okay. They lost a little bit on the offensive line, but I'm not really concerned there. Should be an elite offense once again. Isaiah Likely, there is a little bit of concern over a high ankle sprain there. So does that revitalize Mark Andrews' stock a little bit to start the season?
I think so. I think Mark Andrews fooled a lot of people, apparently having a car crash and a tightrope surgery on your ankle, kind of a double whammy there that's not ideal. So I think Mark Andrews will start the season a little hotter than he finished off last year. And look, I'm not projecting a touchdown a game because I think that's ridiculous, but I think that he will remind people that he is good. He fooled me last year. I'm deeply sorry. But I think that's enough on the Ravens. Started with them because it's pretty quick and easy. Let's talk about a disaster class of a team, Cleveland Browns. I have in my notes here, in Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, Joe Flacco, Tyler Huntley, Dylan Sampson, Quinshon Judkins, ? And out, Nick Chubb and Jameis Winston. So that's heartbreaking. Evan, who starts a quarterback for the Browns this year?
Cool man Joe Flacco.
Okay, who starts week 2?
Cool man Joe Flacco.
Who starts week 8?
Flacco will continue starting until he either gets injured or they are mathematically out of the playoff race, at which point they will most likely be going to either of the rookies to try and be able to establish who is going to be their primary backup moving forward. Yes, backup. People out here trading 2028 first-round picks for Shedeur Sanders after one preseason game. Bruh.
Did you see that? Is that real?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, sell Shedeur Sanders.
Crazy.
All right, look, I think it becomes a weird, committee quarterback approach to finish out the year. They'll get Dylan Gabriel some run. They'll get Shedeur Sanders some run. I think Kenny Pickett will play at least a game, which is hilarious to say in 2025. Really just stay away from the Browns quarterbacks unless you have a deep super flex league where you just need a guy with a pulse.
Hey, so both of us liked Dylan Sampson going into the draft. Is there any hope, any pulse on the Dylan Sampson train right now?
I think he's quiet right now, and I love that. It's Dylan Sampson versus Jerome Ford. Even if Sampson isn't the starter, he's the clear handcuff there in a team that's going to stink. So, he's not going to run for 110 yards, but he'll maybe get 15 to 18 touches if Ford misses any time. And even if he doesn't, he'll have a role. So as long as Judkins is in this weird legal limbo, Dylan Sampson season is here.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the storylines to be able to track right now. Judkins, that's a whole nother situation inside itself. If you are choosing to buy Judkins, what is the situation that you're buying him and how much are you buying him for?
I would send a playoff second for him in the hopes that he turns it around. And just send that over in a bunch of leagues, or if you haven't done your rookie drafts yet, that's the time to do it. I think redraft for 2025, you need to wait for him to be like probably outside the top 100 picks, maybe even further, because it's one of those things. As soon as it's resolved, you have a starting running back with a clear role who profiles to be a workhorse guy. I don't know when that's going to be resolved, and I don't think anybody does. And this could just be a situation that takes forever. And I mean, that he could be a completely dead asset for your dynasty teams. He could do nothing for your redraft teams. He could be an absolute black eye for all of my best ball teams. Like, there's just not a lot of ways that this goes well for Judkins. Can't spend too much time. We got to do an hour.
Okay.
It's too much time on the Browns. Also, Jerry Jeudy stinks, and he won't do well. Cincinnati Bengals. They extended all of their offense. They signed Noah Fant. And they don't have a defense of any form. So good for dynasty, good for redraft, good for everything. Like, draft Bengals players. How do you feel about the Mike Gesicki, Noah Fant fit? Because obviously all of the other Bengals are good players that you want to draft.
Historically, how much of the Bengals even use tight ends?
Not a lot.
Okay. So with that being said, with 2 tight ends that essentially are oversized wide receivers, yeah, I'm not really caring too much.
Pulse check. Jermaine Burton, alive?
No.
All right, cool.
Flat line. Absolute flat line.
And that is the Bengals in 60 seconds or less. All right. We might need 2 or 3 minutes here. The Pittsburgh Steelers. In, Aaron Rodgers. Out, Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. In, Caleb Johnson. Out, Najee Harris. In, Jonnu Smith, because why not? I don't know what to do with the Steelers offense. This offensive line, the unit should gel together better. Like, there are pretty high expectations around Pittsburgh for that. They have invested heavily in the position with draft capital. The issue's been health and players playing out of their natural position. Like, Broderick Jones just got thrown over to the opposite side tackle magically. Look, it's an Arthur Smith offense without clear-cut expectations for the run. Draft Aaron Rodgers as an emergency super flex guy. Do you have any interest in the running backs or tight ends in 2025?
No, because I don't know who's going to come out of either Jonnu or Freiermuth. I have no clue who's going to come out of that side and that question mark. I have no clue between Warren and Caleb who's going to come out of that backfield. And if you're going to tell me that it's just going to be headache city, I'm just going to stay away. Let somebody else deal with the headache. Bigger question for me, Mike, is DK Metcalf going to get funneled targets?
Absolutely, and I'm here for it. Will it work? I have no idea. Because Aaron Rodgers likes his timing, he likes his guys to get open, and DK Metcalf just likes to run fast and straight. So, also, Aaron Rodgers is currently dealing with a calf tightness is what the report is right now, which sounds bad for a 41-year-old quarterback coming off of an Achilles tear. But we won't worry about that. They'll be fine. Everything's be good. Steelers forever. And that wraps up the AFC North in 10 minutes or less. Let's do the AFC East. I want to start with the Patriots. So add Kyle Williams, add Stephon Diggs, Drake May, the clear starter. They go get a dynamic playmaker in Travion Henderson. They invest in the offensive line. Are all of the Patriots bargains this year, or is this offense going to stink again?
Drake May is not a bargain. Dude, the price that people are asking for Drake May in the dynasty streets, it's been a while since I've checked his redraft status and where he's going in that, but
I think he's outside the top 10 to 12 right now. Like, he's QB 15-ish.
Okay. ESPN just pulled it up. He is QB 18, but behind JJ McCarthy. So, okay.
Redraft leagues, Drake May.
So redraft leagues, if you want to take a quarterback at the very, 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 very end, because you're taking 2 for some unknown reason, yeah, I mean, the legs are a potential. You're going to look for him to be able to try and stay healthy. Vrabel offense, is Henderson enough of a value right now, Mike?
Oh, I mean, it's tough because his price skyrocketed after the preseason kick return. Like before that, he was a screaming value. He was going like RB 24, 25. Now he's getting into the teens. I'm getting a little worried there. I think that he is going to have a clear pass catching role for PPR leagues. He's an explosive rusher. There's a lot to like there on a week by week explosive play basis. I don't know how much volume he is going to get, which will make him unpredictable and frustrating.
Yep, totally agree. Is Diggs somebody that you're thinking about taking?
I'll kick the tires in dynasty leagues. Like you can probably get him for a third, maybe a late second. Like I understand the appeal, but really what I've been doing is buying an unholy amount of Demario Douglas because he is profiling as their number one slot receiver, and all reports out of camp are glowing. Yes, I bought Demario Douglas like 2 seasons ago because he's just always open. And I have a weak spot for slot guys that are always open and get 90 targets. I have a weird amount of Wan'Dale Robinson. I have a weird amount of Demario Douglas. I have 8 points out of my like 5th flex option. That'll work.
Okay.
Enough about the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's do the Bills. Do you have anything that you were worried about with the Bills other than James Cook?
Yeah, wide receiver.
Dude, they got Keon Coleman. They're set.
Okay.
They
have a bunch of guys that are better than Jags, but they're definitely not bona fide number one wide receivers. So when you don't have a number one, you don't really have any wide receivers in my book. Much like in college, if you don't have that number one to go to, you just kind of have a bunch of dudes in the room. Tight end is still a wasteland there. If you invest in Kincaid, I am sorry for your dynasty stocks because they just keep going down, down, down.
We did have Coop on the show for our tight end rankings, and he said there's a glimmer of hope there. That was before a re-aggravated knee injury. The Kincaid vibes are bad, and I want nothing to do with that. Receivers, I mean, it's Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman. Any interest in anybody else? Or, I mean, even in managed leagues, when are you going to start Keon Coleman?
Exactly. I mean, you're starting him if one of you're starting 3 and probably one wide receiver that you're starting in the flex. If one of those 4 get injured and another one has a bye week, that's probably the only time that you're starting Keon Coleman, which
is your wide receiver 6. Let's go, baby.
Yep. Is not inspiring.
Yeah. The longer James Cook holds out, the more excited I am for Ray Davis. And I think that's enough about the Bills. Let's talk about the Dolphins. Devon Achane, everybody's sweet running back Prince. Tua, when he's healthy, he's a good value. When he's not, he stinks. And Tyreek Hill, do you think this is both dynasty and redraft? Because I think in both he has a weird price right now. Is Tyreek Hill over the hill?
Tyreek Hill may be over the hill, but in dynasty, his price has dropped precipitously to the point where he is a screaming buy, in my opinion, based off of the fact that even if he has a couple weeks of the old Tyreek Hill and the other weeks, what's he going to be? A top 38, a top 40 wide receiver?
So what would you send to buy Tyreek Hill right now?
Playoff second, playoff third.
I don't know if that gets it done, but I will try and I will follow back up.
Okay.
Would you send a playoff first for him?
No.
Would you send 2 seconds, 1:26, 1:27?
Sure.
Okay. I'll give that a go and I'll let you know how it goes. Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, 42 last year, I think.
Oh, Waddle's a penguin.
Is this his year?
No.
Okay, on to the Jets. Out Aaron Rodgers, in. Yes, that's a new Justin Fields graphic. Yes, that's for you, Drew. Thank you for listening. While I have you, be sure to like and subscribe. You know, we're running through this. We're having fun, and we're just over 100 followers away from 1,000 subscribers. So thank you. But Justin Fields in, obviously that does weird things to the offense. Garrett Wilson, is he going to crack 1,000 yards this year?
Yes.
Is he going to be pretty?
No, he's going to do it on 160 receptions.
Can't wait. All reports coming from the draft, training camp, mini camp, preseason games, everything has been it's going to be a three-headed backfield in New York. Worries for Breece Hall, Braylon Allen of value, Isaiah Davis a best ball dart. Like, how do we sift through that?
Nah, I'm not believing it until I see it in an actual regular season game because, look, Breece Hall is clearly the best talent in that backfield. We are not very many years removed at all from him being a top 5 dynasty back. And look, I get it. Running backs in dynasty have a crazy short shelf life, and they fall off a cliff when they fall off a cliff. But Breece Hall's receiving ability alone, I get it. Justin Fields doesn't utilize the receiving abilities of his tight ends as often as you would want, but his receiving ability is still top 10 in the league.
Justin Fields, I think he had the number 1 check down rate last year, which was wild. So,
okay.
Maybe Breece Hall gets some run.
Look at that.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
I said I wouldn't fact check, but here we are. No, I think there's room where Breece Hall could do that. My concern is if Isaiah Davis takes 30% of those, Braylon Allen takes 30% of the rushing. Now we're talking about, and then Justin Fields takes another 20% of that. Like, this is not just a 3-headed backfield, 4-headed backfield. There is a way this year goes so poorly for him that he becomes a screaming buy because the talent is there. We're excited about that.
But if he has a similar season to last year, are you upset about that at the price that Breece Hall is right now?
Probably not.
Okay.
But I'm excited for what he can do on a new team if that ever happens. Wide receiver 2 for the Jets. Evan, are you busy on Sundays throughout the fall?
Yes, I am very busy on Sundays throughout the fall.
If you weren't, you would be the wide receiver 2.
Just a big body out there that may have some stone hands. May be able to take a lick over the middle.
Can't run routes, can't get open, can't catch. But you know what? Let's do it. You and me, we'll be the 2 and 3.
There you go. I'll take an NFL minimum.
It's Mason Taylor versus Breece Hall for wide receiver 2, which is hilarious. And that's probably enough Jets talk forever. Let's talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Added Liam Cohn. Went ahead and drafted this guy, Travis Hunter. I don't know if you've heard of him. Pretty medium prospect, I guess. And then Bashal Tootin, everybody's late round running back, Darling. Who is going to be the lead back for the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2025? You have to pick one.
Tank Bigsby.
I think if we're doing it by carries, I think that's right.
I think he will be. Yeah, he will have the most carries, I think, at the end of the season.
But who has the most fantasy points?
ETN.
Yeah, I think it's a disgusting thing where ETN starts the season with the passing game work and a little bit of the rushing work. Tootin maybe eats into that. Maybe ETN gets traded. Bigsby has his role and he stays in it. Like, this is just, it's going to be gross.
I will take either Steelers running back over any Jaguars running back.
Ooh. I think I would take the Jaguars running backs because I just believe in that offense more. I believe in Liam Cohn more than I believe in Arthur Smith, and I think that's not that hot of a take.
No, it's not.
But yeah, no, the running backs are gross, so we're going to stay away there. I have just been throwing darts at them in best ball, and I think in redraft leagues, if you have enough room on your bench or in dynasty because the acquisition price is so low, just throw darts at it. Don't plug them into your lineup week 1, but see what you have. Maybe week 4 you have a top 20 running back. Maybe week 4 you have nothing.
Would you move off of Tank for a 27-second?
I don't think I would. But I think that says more about where I value second-round picks these days. I'm starting to realize that they're just more hope than they are actual hits.
They're sweeteners in deals.
Yes. But if you can use that to get an NFL running back with a clear role who is a handcuff with upside, go do that.
Okay.
But cool. Travis Hunter versus Brian Thomas Jr. Who would you rather have at cost in redraft leagues? Brian Thomas Jr. going in the late first, early second. Travis Hunter going somewhere around pick 50.
Thomas Jr. I can't justify the cost of Hunter without specifically seeing him playing 80% of the snaps on offense.
He just played 80% of the snaps on offense in the preseason game with the starters.
Yes, it's a preseason game.
So we're set. He's going to play 80% of the defense next game, and it's going to be a nightmare for everybody. But I like both of them. I think I'm just investing in this offense and praying that Trevor Lawrence doesn't let me down.
Hey, if you have a casual league, Mike, wouldn't it just be fun to find a way to just like sprinkle some IDP points in there and just see who notices it in the scoring?
Just add it in, not tell anybody. That's a scumbag move. Despicable. You're an evil, evil man. No, I love the leagues where it's like, oh, if the quarterback gets a tackle, it's 100 points. But imagine if you just made tackles worth a little bit of points. Travis Hunter just magically wins you every week.
But tackles at half a point. I'm not saying they have to be much, just half a point.
Let's start a league.
Okay.
We're already in way too many. The Houston Texans traded away all of their offensive line, all of their hopes and dreams, and Joe Mixon is in a walking boot. They added Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knoll, the Iowa State duo. Woody Marks is in? Question mark?
Is Nick Chubb healthy?
He
with no anything in his knee left.
I was going to say reports out of camp for him are he's definitely lost a step, but it doesn't matter. He's a pro's pro. And normally coaches try to defend their running back. They're like, people say he's lost a step. I can't see it. No, the Texan staff are like, yeah, he's slow. Like he's running like Mike out here.
Hey, he's the new Peyton Hillis.
I am worried about that. So anyway, it sounds like we're staying away from the Houston running backs unless, deep league, dynasty league, go get some Woody Marks. CJ Stroud behind a terrible offensive line. How do we feel about that?
I mean, not great. CJ Stroud could be the most sacked quarterback in the league this year.
I think that's a fair assumption.
So with that being said, does that make any of the wide receivers more valuable, just seeing more targets because CJ is getting the ball out? Or does it make them less valuable because CJ is not given enough time to push the ball downfield?
I think it actually hurts Nico Collins more than we want to admit because a lot of his deep routes that are going for big plays, CJ just might not get the time for them. He's obviously still a fantastic player. There's a world where he finishes as the number one overall wide receiver, and I wouldn't bat an eye. There's also a world where he finishes as, wide receiver 14, and you're pretty disappointed with that. So how do we feel about the slot role in Houston? Is useful.
Yeah, Jalen Knoll, I think, will be useful. It's one of those things where you look at it, and once again, you're saying, hey, he has to get the ball out quickly. And who's going to separate early in their route tree?
Christian Kirk.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. No, it should be Knoll. I think it starts with Kirk, and then it turns into Knoll pretty quickly. Or Noel.
Whatever.
But Knoll. We should say Noel's name right. Tennessee Titans added Cam Ward. I don't know if I've ever seen a gunslinging number one overall pick quarterback get talked about less. Lost Will Levis' shoulder surgery. Just horse him out for the homie there. And then a wide receiver, it's Calvin Ridley. It's Tyler Lockett. It's Elike Omanor. It's your boy Xavier Restrepo. We'll see what that receiver room turns into, but I am excited about Calvin Ridley.
Christian DK?
Yes, sorry. I mentioned A.O. Manor before the guy drafted before him. DK, who I, to this day, think he was drafted for his special teams expertise. But, yes. Who is the wide receiver 2 for Tennessee? And will they have value?
Who the heck knows? Tony Pollard. Tajay Spears, if he's not dead.
Tajay Spears currently dealing with a high ankle sprain as of August 12th.
Yeah.
So draft Tony Pollard, trade for Tony Pollard in dynasty leagues, and stay away from the rest of the receivers unless they're super cheap, and then just throw darts for fun.
The offensive line's improved. The wide receiver crew sucks other than Ridley. Ridley should have a ton of target consolidation.
This is LKO Manor, Erasure. My sweet prince. Okay. He dropped for medical reasons. I'll take that to my grave. Let's talk about the Colts. Who's the starting quarterback?
Richardson.
With one hand?
Yeah, he doesn't need a pinky to throw a football.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think his pinky even touches the football. Have you seen his hands? They're the opposite of Kenny Pickett's. He makes
they are Treylon Burks. Oh, man, another guy that got cut. What a shame. Waived, whatever. Yeah. Double, what is it, 5XL hands or something like that?
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I support Richardson. I think there's a world where Daniel Jones plays a couple of games because Richardson's either hurt or benched, but his offense skill positions are good. Tyler Warren, good. Jonathan Taylor, good. Michael Pittman and Josh Downs, good. Who's getting them the ball?
Maybe Tyler Warren.
Yeah, let's get some Wildcat out there. That'd be sick. But 2025 expectations for all of these skill position players just tampered down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they're all nuked because of the fact that they don't have a quarterback that can distribute the football.
My Anthony Richardson dreams are gone. That's enough about the Colts. Let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. Rashee Rice likely to be suspended for somewhere between 2 to 6 games. Hollywood Brown already hurt again. Is that right? Xavier Worthy. Yeah.
He's perennially hurt.
Yep. Xavier Worthy doing Xavier Worthy things, getting open and trying his best. And Travis Kelce just finished recording a podcast with Taylor Swift. She couldn't come, so I had Evan on the show. So here we are. Expectations for the Chiefs offense. Do we think it's going to be more bombs away than it has been in years past, or is it just the dink and duck dive down the field?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Patrick Mahomes is bottom 5 in ADOT this year.
It's winning football games.
It does. Isaiah Pacheco will run like his hair is on fire and he's mad at the ground once again.
Yep. Straight into the guard's back and then fall forward for 3 yards. Can't wait, baby.
On the bright side, though, Simmons looks like he is clearly taking hold of that left tackle spot for this offensive line.
Good for them.
So, yeah.
Cool. So the Chiefs, same expectations as last year. I mean, at this point, draft Travis Kelce because he's such a value, or like trade for him because he's so old. He's just going to keep playing until he gets bored, which could be week 8. The Denver Broncos, Bo Nix exists, but they drafted R.J. Harvey, the 35-year-old running back out of UCF. They didn't make any major acquisitions at wide receiver. How do we feel? I mean, sorry, this is Pat Bryant erasure. I'm the worst.
Come on.
I know. But no major moves that affect Cortland Sutton. And then it was Marvin Mims week last week. If we just
they extended Cortland Sutton, which is a major move for him.
I know. Good for him. He got the bag. But do we expect a sophomore slump from Bo Nix, or is this going to be more of the same? Little targets down the field and then some deep shots to Mims, Troy Franklin, or Cortland Sutton?
Yeah, no, it's going to be more of the same. This defense is absolutely going to be elite. Like this could be Peyton Manning going to the Super Bowl level defense for the Denver Broncos.
We just need Bo Nix to play as good as Peyton Manning. No pressure. Let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. Out all of their quarterbacks in Geno Smith. Huge upgrade there. But also in Pete Carroll as head coach, Chip Kelly as offensive coordinator. I feel like those two are kind of at odds with each other because Chip Kelly has run some like pretty exciting offenses, some pretty fun stuff there. And Pete Carroll just kind of watched Russell Wilson do his thing and said, nope, we're going to hand the ball off 400 times. So expectations for run versus pass in that system, or is it just the passing metrics will be down from a volume standpoint, but up from an efficiency standpoint. And Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers are still screaming values. Maybe not values for Bowers, but Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, I mean, efficiency should continue. I mean, you look at what Geno Smith has continuously done over the second half of his career, which is being an efficiency quarterback. Bowers should still be able to get what he is due. He is still the number one pass catcher in this offense, without question. There's nobody that will even shake a stick at him, come anywhere close. So that's a win. Genty in the backfield. Look, when you have an elite running back and you have Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll as your coach, if that elite running back is not getting 250 plus carries, they're doing something wrong.
Early line from FanDuel right after the draft. Ashton Genty, 999.5 yards, over or under?
No, it's over.
Yes.
Look, even with the offensive line being mid, they're not a bad offensive line. It's a mid offensive line. 4 yards a carry for Genty. He should be able to do that just after contact.
Well, he had -1 yard in the preseason game, so I did extrapolate that out for 17 games. It's not good. It's -17 yards. So,
Man, that makes a lot of sense why you're seeing Travion Henderson and a third for Genty right now.
Dude, that's crazy. I love Henderson.
Insanity. It makes no sense. After he had that kick return, like, everybody went bonkers and everybody was panicking off of Genty, and it makes zero sense. So please don't do that if you're a Genty owner. Henderson is good. He will probably be good, but Genty is worth much more than Henderson in a third.
If you would not have moved from the 101 to the 106 for a third, I don't know what news has changed that for you. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Chargers. Rashawn Slater out for the year. Ladd McConkey, still dad's for Ladd. The rest of the wide receivers there, between QJ, the ghost of Keenan Allen, Trey Harris having drop problems, Oronde Gadsden as the backup tight end. Like, is there another pass catcher in this offense that you want outside of Ladd?
Yeah, Keenan Allen.
Really?
Keenan Allen will have a top 30 season.
I will bet you 3 shots on a live stream that he will not.
No, I'll just give you some money, Mike.
I will bet you something that we'll come up with after the show that's
right.
Not going to happen.
Okay.
Place your comments below if Keenan Allen's going to be top 30 or not. I am firmly in the no category. Is this points per game or total points?
Points per game.
Of course, because he's going to get hurt. Omarion Hampton, my sweet prince, looks like he's going to be the lead back to start the season because Najee Harris is still looking at fireworks. Look, we talked all offseason about how Hampton might start slow, like lower your expectations, be okay with him starting slow. Instead, Hampton wheels up. Like, are we talking about a top 10 running back for 2025?
If they still had Slater, then yeah. But look, I don't even know who their backup tackles are, because maybe Pipkins is their backup left tackle. Because if you tell me that you have Alt and Slater as your 2 tackles, what are the odds that you're investing really anything of notion at backup tackle? You're not.
You thought you were fine.
So Alt has to step up, because Alt was very good as a right tackle, needs to step up to be a true, legit all-star left tackle, Pro Bowl left tackle. And then they need to figure something out at right tackle, because I'm assuming that Alt is sliding over to left tackle now that Slater's out.
Yeah. Bottom line, it's going to be a little tough sledding because the offensive line is worse, which is sad. Evan, we made it halfway through in 34 minutes. Do you think we can get the other 16 teams in 25 minutes?
Nah, we'll figure it out.
Let's fly. Vikings, J.J. McCarthy, clear starter. Jordan Addison suspended for a wet reckless, which is what they called you in high school. All in all, JJ McCarthy's either going to be good or the entire offense is being overdrafted right now. I think McCarthy's going to be good because Kevin O'Connell made Sam Darnold good.
Hawkinson gets back to the elite tight end that he was before the injury.
Let's go. Can't wait. Packers, who is the wide receiver one there?
Golden?
And who is the backup running back?
Great question. Who knows?
Cool. Glad we cleared that up. My money is on Dontavian Wicks, wide receiver one. Let's go, baby. Not actually. Please don't follow that advice. But I think it's going to be more of Jaden Reed being super efficient, Matthew Golden taking the top off the defense, Packers offense running through 7 different receivers. Did you know they moved Bo Melton to corner? And he is playing corner, and he's not looking bad.
Awesome. You gotta love it.
There's a fun fact for you. Detroit Lions.
Hey, whoa. Before you move off, is the Jordan Love injury situation any concern to you?
Not really.
Okay.
He's enough of a vet. It's not like he needed to learn the system. Might just start slow week 1 and 2, but he'll be fine.
Okay.
Detroit Lions, talk to me about their offensive line after all of the moves this offseason.
Well, it's definitely worse than it was before. You're losing a handful of starters to retirement or free agency. Isaac Tesla, is he the real deal?
No.
Okay.
Glad we cleared that up. So the offensive line got a little bit worse. The offensive coordinator likely got worse. I mean, you assume going from Ben Johnson to anybody. Should we be worried about Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown? I'm not saying worried about they won't be dynasty value, good dynasty assets. But we're taking Jahmyr Gibbs somewhere as the RB 1 to 3. There's a world where maybe it's not that good this year.
Yeah, I mean, Gibbs is still the safest. One of the safest running backs that you can draft. Okay. It would be an absolute shock for him to finish outside of the top 6.
I think it would be a shock, but I think it's going to be one of those things that if that happens, we'll look back and be, of course that happened. Look at all the offensive line was worse. The offensive coordinators knew.
Tate Ratledge is coming in. You got to love those Georgia boys. Come on.
I do love Tate. Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams looking sad, and that makes Ben Johnson mad. DJ Moore versus Luther Burden versus Roma Dunze versus our fantasy teams. Who wins?
Who knows? All right. This is going to be an absolute crapshoot of an offense to try and guess who is going to be the real number 1 on any given week. This just makes me think of LSU when they had multiple wide receivers on their title run when Burrow was there, being able to just spread the ball around to whoever he wanted on any given week. And it did not matter because one of the receivers was blowing up.
Fair. I think it's still DJ Moore and then the rest, but we'll see.
Does Loveland get over 65 receptions?
No.
Okay.
But I still love him as a prospect, and I think that there is a world where he grows into that. But I think expectations year 1, fighting time with Cole Kmet, fighting time with all these wide receivers. What is the bull case for Colston Loveland this year? It's 70 receptions and 800 yards. That would be sick.
Sure. I mean, that would value where you're having to draft him right now.
Yep. But I'm a tad concerned about how these targets are going to be divvied up. NFC East, Eagles, still good. Any notes?
Nope, they are still good. Dickerson is a little bit of a concern how he holds up during the season based off of that injury that just occurred. But needless to say, the Eagles still have one of the best, if not the best, offensive line in the country.
Jalen Hurts, value in all formats. For some reason, he is going outside the top 4 quarterbacks in redraft leagues, which is silly. Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott going to throw for probably 9,000 yards this year. George Pickens in. Let's go, baby. Finally. Second quarter because he doesn't get enough targets. And Jake Ferguson signed a big contract there. I know redraft people probably don't care about that. Dynasty, I think this really matters because Dak's tight end is normally a top 12 guy. Jake Ferguson, quietly a good tackle breaker. There's a world where Jake Ferguson just continues to be a top 10 tight end for another 3 to 4 years.
Is it concerning at all for you that Tyler Guyton's already dealing with injuries?
It would concern me if the plan wasn't already clear for the Cowboys that they are going to run it about 9 times a game and throw it 63. Okay. And I think it's going to be a lot of checkdowns. Jaden Blue is a fantastic short, dump off kind of guy. Javonte Williams, yes, he's dust as a runner, but he quietly had, I think, 80 targets last year. 90. Like, Javonte Williams can be a receiver. Jaden Blue is only good as a receiver. They added weapons. Like, they're just going to try and air it out as much as they can, no matter what the coach says.
Is Turpin worth anything other than in special team leagues?
I might make people mad when gets suspended or kicked off the team because that's the Tomlin black magic at work. So,
okay,
cool. Commanders. Terry McLaurin still holding out. Deebo Samuel in. Jaden Daniels, fantastic, but going off the board very early. We think Jaden Daniels will be good. Any concern about what his season looks like if Terry continues to hold out?
Oh, yeah. Deebo Samuel sucks. Like, Deebo is just not anywhere. He's not anywhere close to the wide receiver he used to be.
Way to sugarcoat that.
Whatever. I'm a blunt object, okay?
Yeah.
Austin Eckler may have to lead this team in receptions. Zach Ertz may have to lead this team in receptions if Terry McLaurin is not there.
Ben Sinnott still worth a spot in your dynasty leagues?
No.
I vote yes. So we'll see how that plays out.
Okay.
Zach Ertz is going to continue to box him out because they're a good team fighting for playoff contention. But if they weren't, or Zach Ertz gets hurt, which a 35-year-old tight end with a history of injuries, there's a world where Sinnott has some use. New York Giants. Russell Wilson in. Jameis Winston in. Jackson Dart in.
How many games does Dart start this year?
Over 10. Ooh, that's fun.
Okay.
So here's my thought process with it. If you look at the Giants' schedule, that it starts terribly for them. There's a world where the Russell Wilson-led team starts 1-4, 1-5, and they just go, you know what? Let's throw Dart out there. Let's have some fun.
Okay.
Malik Neighbors. Going into 2026, is it more likely he is valued as the overall wide receiver 1 in Dynasty or outside the top 5?
Outside the top 5.
Interesting.
I don't feel good about that. I mean, that is like a real coin flip to me.
That's what I'm saying. Quick check at everybody's age that he is behind right now. Jamar Chase, currently 25 years old, so he'll be 26. That's too old for some dynasty people. Would you rather have the overall wide receiver 1 for points, or would you rather have the 23-year-old who's good?
Wide receiver 1 for points.
Yes, because you're smart. But I think there's a world where Malik Neighbors jumps into that category, even if he finishes as the wide receiver 6 or 7 this year. We just scream about the talent and the step forward with Dart.
You already talked about this player earlier, but is Wan'Dale Robinson being criminally undervalued?
Yes, and I love him, and I will never stop.
I'm with you on that, honestly.
Okay. How many players, what is he, 26 years old, 27 maybe?
Somewhere in that range, sure.
He's getting 100-plus targets. He's always open. No, he's not going to finish as the wide receiver 18, but in dynasty leagues where you're starting 3 wide receivers, a couple of flexes, like Wan'Dale has value.
Sleeper has him listed as 24, by the way, Mike.
Dude, You have 6 years of a slot demon. Just enjoy it. You can go get him for, I don't know, what, 2/3?
Look, all I know is if any receiver is getting 140 targets, I will take a chance on him.
And they weren't just, made up targets either. He's earning them. He's open. I'm a big fan. Let's talk about the Carolina Panthers. Oh, sorry. We need to talk one more thing with the Giants. Cam Scatterbo versus Tyrone Tracy. Choose your fighter.
Scatterbo.
I think it's Tracy.
I'm going Scatterbo just because of the goal line potential.
I think it was Scatterbo, and then he hurt his hamstring. He's losing reps. He already needed them in order to try and win the coaches over. It would not shock me if the end of the year it's a 60-40 split in his decision. But to start the year, it's probably Tracy 60-40, maybe even 70-30. It becomes a timeshare on a bad offense that no one wants anything to do with. Cool. NFC South, Carolina Panthers. Say something nice about
them. Call him Tetaroa McMillan, not Tet McMillan.
T-Mac.
Oh, yeah, T-Mac. Also, Bryce Young is slowly figuring out how the NFL actually works.
And he's looking elusive again. The things that I said he wouldn't get away with in the pros, he's getting away with. So, you know what? Props to him.
Hey, it only took him a couple years in college, so maybe it just takes him a couple years to figure things out.
Yeah. T-Mac, top 24 wide receiver in 2025, yes or no?
No.
Interesting. Who's the wide receiver two?
They're going to run the crap out of the ball.
Chuba Hubbard, 900 carries for 1,000 yards at 1.1 yard per carry.
Until Chuba breaks down, they will continue to utilize him.
The carries will continue until morale improves. Who is the wide receiver two for the Panthers?
Adam Thielen.
Interesting. I was going to say Leggett, but in like a sad way. Like he's just running off the screen so that T-Mac can get open underneath.
And I think they're over Leggett already. Like I think it's crazy to say, but I think they saw his drop issues last year and they said we need another wide receiver because this guy is not it.
Yeah. That's what happens when you take the big fast guy and then you ask him to run, a full route tree. The Chargers did it with QJ. Like, just take the big fast guy and give him the ball and then let him run. But who is the tight end for the Panthers, and does it matter?
JT Sanders, and no, it doesn't matter. Is this defense going to be historically bad?
Absolutely. And I think there's going to be some weird Panthers talk heading into 2026. Because Bryce Young might look good, but if they have the number 2 overall pick, you want to roll? You want to see what's going on? I don't know. It'll be hilarious. But the New Orleans Saints, Spencer Rattler, interest you in any format?
No.
He is the early favorite to start the year. Tyler Shuck interest you in any format?
No.
Jake Haener interest you in any format?
Don't even go there.
Does the trade for Kirk Cousins interest you in any format?
Yes.
Too bad it won't happen. But Chris Olave, would you send a 2026 playoff first for Chris Olave?
I have done that in leagues, and I very much regret it. No, I would rather trade a middling second and third, which I think is Shaheed's value right now.
To go get Shaheed?
Yeah.
Bought Shaheed for a playoff second last year. I feel very good about that, even though he tore everything right after. I think that's a real discussion about who's going to score more fantasy points this year between Shaheed, Olave, and the defense they're playing against. So that's fun. Alvin Kamara, how long can he keep it up?
He'll be a points per game monster once again. Kamara is going to be, if he's healthy, you're starting him. If he's dinged up, you're starting him. If he's out, you sit him. It's pretty simple to know when
still
to
might
start
start him.
Still maybe, I just might forget to check ESPN in my work week or something,
Yeah.
And because of that, he'll start. But yeah, Kamara is going to be good once again. He is going to be a king in PPR once again because that's what he does.
Okay. I want you to close your eyes. It's week 9. Alvin Kamara just got traded to the Dallas Cowboys. Who is the new starting running back for the New Orleans Saints?
Somebody they signed off the waiver wire.
Oh, brother. All right, you can open your eyes. That was sad. Gus Edwards, starting running back for the New Orleans Saints. So really no Kendre
tough.
Miller, Devin Neal love?
Maybe it's Devin Neal. I have zero love for Kendre Miller. I did not care for him out of college, and I still don't care for him at all.
Day 2 draft capital, exciting young player, and just at no point has shown any signs of life. So tough in these streets for Kendre. The Atlanta Falcons. Is Drake London more likely to be the number 1 wide receiver in dynasty rankings or outside the top 8 after 2025? Sending heaters today.
Outside the top 8.
I think that's reasonable. Wide receiver 2 for Atlanta?
Mooney.
Okay. And is Kyle Pitts a psyop by a big fantasy?
Always.
Cool. Bijan Robinson's good. Drake London's good. What are our expectations for Michael Penix heading into 2025?
Real quick, since you talked about Bijan here, is Bijan your RB1 in redraft?
In redraft, I think there's a very good discussion to have between him and Barkley. If you are worried at all about the touches, the age, like all of the nerd stuff, I get going with Bijan. If you're not, it's Barkley.
Okay, because I'm 100% Bijan is RB1 in redraft.
Interesting. Does that make him your RB1 in Dynasty as well, then?
Yes.
Cool. I think the Atlanta Falcons could be feisty this year.
Is Penix going to be good enough to lead this team to the playoffs?
You say lead this team to the playoffs, but let's go through their competition real quick. They need to beat the Carolina Panthers with one of the league's worst defenses. They need to beat the New Orleans.
It's the Bucs. The Bucs are the only team that's going to compete against them.
And the Bucs, who lost Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah.
And
maybe not for the whole season, but
for a while. And then I harp on the coaching changes a lot, but I think the brain drain there it's actually important this time. Yep. So you're losing an offensive coordinator that does creative things in the red zone so that you can get playmakers open late. You're losing an offensive coordinator that's doing fun things in the run game to get Bucky Irving in space. What happens when you get a vanilla guy in there that wants to give Rashad White, A-gap carries for fun? I don't know.
Did they do enough on defense?
The Bucs?
No. The Falcons.
On paper, yes, the players they picked, I was not in love with. I think James Pierce Jr. was an interesting process there. But they needed edge rushers, and they went and got 2 of them. So I get it.
And they got safety help.
Yes. I think they could have done enough, and we'll see how it plays out. But, dude, it has to be better than last year.
It does. It really does. Can the Falcons be a top 3 seed in the NFC?
No.
Okay.
By record, no. By winning their division and maybe another division turns into a crapshoot, yes.
Okay.
But I think between NFC North, are they going to have a better record than the Vikings, Packers, and Lions?
Probably not, but who knows? They could all beat up on each other.
And then maybe the Bears are feisty. Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders.
Everybody but the Eagles.
And then choose your fighter from the NFC West. I think the NFC West is the division they could beat in order to be the 3 seed.
Okay.
But enough about the Falcons. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we already talked about them a little bit. Offense coordinator gone. Tristan Wirfs injured for a while, maybe not the whole year. Rachaad White dealing with some soreness right now. Chris Godwin coming back from injury. Amiga Egbuka in the door. How do we feel about just the Buccaneers offense in general right now?
Dude, Baker's got a bunch of weapons to be able to work with.
Absolutely.
That is very exciting. Dude, you forgot to mention Kate Otten. What are you doing? No, but in all seriousness, the Wirfs injury is a major injury. He was holding this offensive line together like duct tape. He was the glue in between everybody. He was eating up the left tackle and the left guard position because he is just that good. He was filling a bunch of holes on that offensive line that are highly questionable, honestly, especially on the interior, which could be a major issue for Bucky running the football and could be a major issue for protection for Baker Mayfield to be able to get the ball out to the wide receivers. What percentage of snaps are in 4 wide receiver sets?
I'm still going to say low. I would say somewhere between 5 and 6, but that's because I think they want to have Bucky and Otten on the field in order to either Bucky or White, depending on if they have them running a route or just doing pass protection, so that they can help clear up some of that offensive line trouble. So they'll have Otten chip. They'll have a running back in to help. I think it's going to be a lot of 3 wide receiver or maybe even 2 wide receiver with 2 running backs or maybe a second tight end, but we'll see.
100% think that it's going to be a down season for Otten because he's going to be asked to stay inside and to be able to chip.
He's going to pass block a lot more than he was asked to, which is a real bummer for your snapshot king. Let's move over to the NFC West, the San Francisco 49ers. We have Brandon Ayuk coming back from injury. We have Deebo Samuel gone. We have Ricky Pearsall coming back from fighting God himself. We have Juwan Jennings coming back from another hamstring injury randomly over the summer. And George Kittle and CMC. I mean, we just draft them and hope they're healthy. And that's the whole 49ers offense in a nutshell. Thoughts?
Yeah. No, it really is. It really is. You expect high caliber play calling. You expect Kittle, when on the field, to be a high caliber player. You expect McCaffrey, when on the field, to be a high caliber player. You expect Brock Purdy to be a game manager, which is not a dirty thing to say. If he is a game manager, San Francisco 49ers offense is humming.
It's unfortunate, but if Ricky Pearsall loses time, if Juwan Jennings loses time, if George Kittle loses time, now we're talking about Brock Purdy, who is an above-average league quarterback. Now he's not useful for our fantasy teams because he needs those yards after the catch guys in order to be useful because he doesn't offer a lot on his own on the ground. Who is the RB2?
No, I was going to say the defense is also highly questionable. It is Warner and Bosa, and that's pretty much it.
Hope and prayer.
That is pretty much it on this defense. It is not the defense that it used to be.
Who's the RB2? Isaac Orendo or Jordan James?
Considering that Isaac Orendo consistently is hurt, Jordan James, because Isaac Orendo won't be available for 2/3 of the season.
Yeah, still hilarious to me that they drafted Orendo where they did, but he's fast and big, and that's fun. All right, 49ers, draft them. Hope they're healthy. The Seattle Seahawks, this is my early call out for the quiet quitting team of the year. They moved on from Geno Smith. They brought in Sam Darnold. They moved on from DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. They brought in Cooper Kupp. They moved on from their offensive coordinator. They brought in Clint Kubiak. So vibes around the Seahawks. Some people think it's going to work. Some people think it's going to be sad. How do we feel?
Do you feel like Cooper Kupp was just a lip service signing to the fans to try and show the fans, hey, we're not actually quitting without.
That's what I'm saying with both him and Sam Darnold. If you look at the way those contracts are set up, they have very easy outs after this year. So they get a couple of guys. It's like, look, this was the best quarterback on the market. Look, this was the best receiver on the market. And now, I mean, there's not a lot of like skill set excitement that they can kind of divvy those guys up. You have MVS, or who's the other cat on the outside? Is it Torrey Horton, and is it LeJontay Western there?
Well, I mean, JSN's the starting outside.
You think they're going to move JSN outside?
I do.
It's going to bug me that I forgot who the Seahawks have as their outside receiver. I mean, it's MVS, and then it's, Jake Bobo, my sweet prince. Torrey Horton, who's currently ahead of MVS on the Our Lads depth chart.
People love Torrey Horton right now.
I don't blame him. Who has more targets this year, Torrey Horton or Elijah Arroyo?
Elijah Arroyo.
Who has more fantasy value in 2029?
Elijah Arroyo.
Fantastic. I love to hear that. I like Arroyo a lot. We didn't talk about this yet because we haven't gotten to the Rams. I thought we skipped over them, but we'll talk about Arroyo versus Terrence Ferguson.
Hey, real quick here. What's Charbonnet's value right now?
I would send a second in a heartbeat. And I think, and that goes back to, do you know who a handcuff is? Do you know clearly when you would start them? Send a second for that player.
Yep.
Zach Charbonnet is a good football player. If Kenneth Walker walks, if he gets hurt, if he demands a trade, if anything happens there, you have a starting running back who can give you a top 12 week any week.
Yeah.
But back to Elijah Arroyo versus Terrence Ferguson. Who do you prefer?
Elijah Arroyo.
Fantastic. I love that. And Seahawks final record prediction. Let me pull up their over-under. They are set at 7.5 wins in 2025.
No. I don't even know what their schedule is. I'm pulling that up right now. But no.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. And I think get ready to learn Sam Darnold, guys. Do we think so? Sam Darnold just came off a career year with KOC in one of the best offensive environments in the league. Do we think Sam Darnold has this job in 2026?
I think he will start the season as the starter in 2026.
Okay. I think that is fair and a level-headed approach. But Jalen Milroe season
who plays more snaps between Sam Darnold and the combination of Drew Lock and Jalen Milroe this year?
This year, I think it's Sam Darnold.
Okay.
I think we see more Jalen Milroe than we expect this year.
Okay.
I also think Sam Howell stinks. But let's talk about the Los Angeles Rams. So Matt Stafford needed an epidural. I have never heard of that in football before. That must be a new procedure. I did hear about it when we were having our baby. Other Rams news, Kyron Williams signs a big extension. They draft backup running backs that people get excited about and then don't exist unless Kyron Williams gets hurt. And Terrence Ferguson. Any other excitement for the Rams other than, I don't know, some Devontae Adams guy? I think you like him.
Yes, Tay Adams is clearly the guy. Puka Nacua is going too high in redraft. You want to disagree?
Is this because of the Stafford concern, or even if Stafford was healthy?
Even if Stafford was healthy.
Dude, I don't know. The way the Rams coaching staff talks about Puka Nacua, like they want to get him the ball. They love what he can do after the run.
You are getting 14 games a year out of Puka. Maybe 15.
Yeah, but I know when to start.
You do know when to start him. You're not wrong. But if you can get 95% of Puka for Amon-Ra and get 17 games.
I think that's a bad example because I'm worried about the Lions offense, but I get what you're saying.
Okay.
Like go get Brian Thomas Jr. or Malik Neighbors in redraft leagues.
Sure.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I think.
Look, I would even make an argument that A.J. Brown is a better asset in redraft leagues than Puka.
I can see that. And I think the Eagles offense, we didn't talk about this enough. Like, they didn't have to do anything in the fourth quarter of games last year, and that's probably not sustainable. So if they have to pass, 2 more times a game, you talk about 34 more targets to go around. Those are probably going to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert when he's on the field. There's a world where this offense has more fantasy points this year, even though the team as a whole may be, in closer games. I'm not going to say worse, but in closer games.
I'm just saying I would have Puka closer to wide receiver 10 than I would at wide receiver 4, where he currently is.
Totally get it. I might have to shift some of my ranks. Let's talk about last and maybe least, the Arizona Cardinals. Marvin Harrison Jr. still exists. Trey Benson versus James Conner. Pick your fighter.
I mean, it seems like it's going to be a split carry, which tells me that Conner is the guy.
I think it's going to be a lot of Conner, and the Trey Benson talk is coach speak right now.
Yep.
Maybe we see more, and Conner's, due to miss a couple of games. Trey McBride, good at football. Kyler Murray, undervalued, but also, we know what he is at this point, and he's fine. He'll be quarterback 10 to 15.
Trey McBride will outscore Brock Bowers this season.
I support that.
Okay.
Marvin Harrison Jr., overpriced in redraft leagues.
Oh, where's he going? Wide receiver 20, pick number 50, right in front of Xavier Worthy.
Okay, that's a bad example because I have no idea what's going on there.
Xavier Worthy, right in front of DJ Moore, right in front of Zay Flowers, in front of Rashee Rice, Cortland Sutton.
So here's the thing. I think there is a world where Marvin Harrison Jr. finishes as the wide receiver 20. However, the way he goes about it is going to be extremely frustrating for managed leagues. His role right now, they park him on the outside. He attempts to win on the outside. Kyler Murray attempts to look over the offensive line and throw it to him. And it's just a bunch of 50-50 balls. They are going to mix in some short and intermediate things, but that's not really where Kyler is looking. And he looks to Trey McBride in those situations. I want nothing to do with him in redraft leagues. And maybe he grows a little bit, but the coaching staff is the same. The target competition is the same. The quarterback is the same. All of the ingredients to this pie are exactly the same. We're just hoping for a year 2 breakout because that's what receivers are supposed to do.
That is what receivers are supposed to do. Kyler is everybody's darling right now in redraft. He's the quarterback that everybody's just saying, hey, if I'm going to punt quarterback, I'm just going to take Kyler late. I don't know if I fully support that.
I think if you're going to not take one of the top 4 to 5 guys, wait until the very last pick because you can get Kyler, May, McCarthy, Williams, Bo Nix. There are plenty of names down there around quarterback 10 to 15. They're are they that different than Baker Mayfield at QB6 prices?
Yeah. Trey McBride, 40 receptions more than the next highest Arizona Cardinal wide receiver.
This season or last season?
This season. He did it last season. It was 49 receptions more than Marvin Harrison Jr., who was second.
Oh, dude, that's bonkers. But I see it happening again.
I see it 100% happening again.
It's the same scheme. It's the same coach. It's the same philosophy. It's the same quarterback. Again, we're using the same ingredients. We're hoping for a different result. That's called insanity. So, yeah, Trey McBride's going to be good. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be frustrating. The prices are better this year, but still, you don't feel great about him as your wide receiver 2. There's not – the upside case is that they just decide to use him differently, which could happen.
Small likelihood.
All right, pick one team that is going to be a fantasy football gold mine. So this is a team that was bad last year, ends up being good. You know, it was the Texans a couple of years ago when Nico Collins became a magical thing. Who was it last year? The Broncos. Like, there are some teams that just the prices are a little deflated because the team has been bad. Who is your team that there's a couple of fantasy football gold mines here?
Oh, man. I mean, the issue is the team that I want to pick is the Jaguars, but they're all overrated at wide receiver. They're all overvalued at wide receiver.
Yeah, but running back and quarterback, it's pretty tight.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor Lawrence's price right now, if Trevor Lawrence's price is correct, then the wide receivers being overdrafted.
Yes.
If Trevor Lawrence's price is wrong and the wide receivers are correct, then Trevor Lawrence is being underdrafted.
Yes.
It's a pretty simple case right there.
I agree.
Man. I don't even have a.
Can I give you
the Packers?
I would buy the Packers for a nickel.
It's a low volume passing offense that people don't want really anything to do with. I mean, Jaden Reed. If you get a trade offer for Jaden Reed right now, like, you don't feel good about it.
But what do you want to do with it? So you're saying the Packers will be better?
The Packers' assets will look better at the end of the season in the wide receiver room than they do currently.
I think there's two that will look better than they do currently, but good luck figuring out which two that will be.
Sure.
Like, maybe Dobbs finally puts it together. Who knows? My pick for this, I like the Jags call out. The New England Patriots invested in their offensive line. They invested in playmakers. We love Drake May. All of these pass catchers are going out. Like, you can get Hunter Henry in dynasty leagues and redraft leagues for a nickel. He might be valuable. You can go get Kyle Williams, Mario Douglas, or Stephon Diggs for a nickel. They might be valuable. If Drake May is what we think he is, we should be drafting the skill position players higher and not just Travion Henderson because of a punt return or kick return. But, dude, it's good to be back. We got through the entire league in an hour and 12 minutes. I missed you this summer.
Missed you too, Mike. I'm glad to have you back.
I hope people enjoyed listening to this. We just kind of talked for an hour, and we normally argue more, but we were trying to be fast. But if you want more arguments, if you want more nonsense, be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to comment. Be sure to send it to your mom because your mom wants to watch us talk about fantasy football. Evan, I love you. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Football RPG Podcast. If you made it this far, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to check out written content, head over to lastwordonsports.com.
Don't let the Goblins get you.